My name is Jad Wolf. I'm from Wichita, Kansas. I'm a real estate broker and have been in business for over 50 years.
Which, in your words, what's the difference between equity marketing, or whatever you want to call it, exchanging, and conventional brokerage?
Well, I think basically in conventional brokerage, you have a purchase price. Okay, generally speaking, equity marketing, it is the purchase price is secondary to the equity in the property, because it doesn't make any difference. You might have a $1 million property with $100,000 equity. Okay, you might have a $500,000 property with $100,000 equity. So, on those terms, what you're actually marketing is, just, as the name implies, is equity marketing. You're taking the equity in the property, okay, and selling it or exchanging it actually for the equity in another property. And that's the basic difference between equity marketing and conventional real estate brokerage. Equity is the difference, okay, between encumbrance, a mortgage, okay, and the perceived value of the property. For example, if you have $1 million property with a $500,000 loan, then you have a $500,000 equity, and that's what you're working with.
What are some of the benefits of exchanging?
The biggest benefit of exchanging is tax benefit, because generally speaking, we're working with properties that are held for income or investment, and to get the tax advantage of a equity or exchange, you have to have held the property for at least 1 year. All right, capital gains, when you have an investment property and you sell the investment property, then you would pay a tax, okay, on the gain on that property. The gain is determined, the difference between the tax basis, okay, and your tax basis is the acquisition plus improvements, okay, less depreciation on the property. So say you have a property with a basis of $500,000, okay, and you exchange that property into another property, okay, that if you had a tax basis of $500,000 and you sold it for $1 million, you would pay a capital gains tax on that difference, which would be $500,000 gain. If you take that same property and you exchange that equity of that property into another property of higher value, okay, it is a non-taxable event. You don't pay any capital gains tax until such time that you sell the property that you exchange for. And it's a little complicated, but you take that basis in the initial property with you into the acquired property. So if you got a $500,000 basis and you exchange it into a $1 million property, okay, you take that $500,000 basis with you, okay. So when you sell that property, if you do improvements on the property, that adds to your basis, okay. So when you eventually sell that property, a lot of people never sell it. They exchange it, and they let their heirs worry about it, okay. But so when you do exchange that property, you would take your basis, and your gain on the property that you sold would be based upon the basis on the property that you exchanged into. Oh yeah, it is a way of wealth retention, if you will, and it has become and that's the niche I've been in for 25 years.
You represent clients, or do you just represent yourself?
No, both.
Okay. What's the importance of counseling, and why does it?
It's critical. It's critical. In other words, to do my job properly, I have people sit down with my client. What's his motives? What's his challenges? What's he trying to accomplish by doing this transaction. And the hard part is them telling you, you have to have a technique to let them understand that you're trying to help them, and in that respect, you have to know what they want to accomplish and how they want to accomplish it, so that you could present it in such a way to a prospective purchaser or exchanger, that when you bring that offer to them, it's going to be as close as possible to solving their problem, and that's the importance of counseling.
Do you feel like in these communities or groups that there's more teamwork and camaraderie?
Oh, absolutely. We're a little niche, and because we're doing the same things, we have some of the same issues. I learned. I'm 74 years old. I still learn so much going to these meetings. Right now, crypto's the big deal. And I'm a novice in that part of it, but I'm learning. And the deal I'm working on now is a $5 million crypto exchange. But there's also, this deal is actually about a $13 billion deal, because it's an international. It involves about $175 million office building in downtown Tokyo, and also includes 13 metric tons of, which is actually 90% of the market in the world of jadeite. And it takes a real special person to be able to put together a deal like this, and that's what I use Bob for, because crypto seems to be an avenue that we may pursue that will get this job done.
What's the strangest thing that you've either taken as a commission or convinced your client to take as a down payment?
As a commission, I've taken guns, I've taken gold. Do you know what iTech dollars are? Mm-hmm. I've got right now $25,000 worth of iTech dollars that I'm thinking about doing something with. I've taken other property. And that's it. Of course, what I do, I'm a one-man band. I've been doing this a long time. And I've been with several different companies, managing directors of the commercials of Keller Williams and stuff like that. And I'm just not cut out for the corporate deal. This is more fun. What I do here, hey, if I want to do something, I can do it. I don't have any restrictions as far as what the corporate values are and what do you have to do to satisfy the corporate, and not including giving part of your commission. So I'm sort of a maverick in that respect, but I think you're going to find in this group lots of mavericks. A lot of guys like me who just want the freedom of being able to do what they want to do.
So it's kind of, if there's one type of person that likes that or is going to be attracted to this, it's someone who wants to think outside the box and be creative.
Absolutely, that's what our deals are. I've done 3- and 4-legged deals. For example, I got a guy here who's got a property, and he wants this property, but the guy here doesn't want his property. Okay, so you exchange what so he'll take this other property that this guy's want and exchange here. He'll exchange into that one, and the end result, this guy gets this property. Okay, and you got 2 people in between that had exchange, and that makes the deal. And that's the creativity of it, and that's the fun of it. Yeah, and there's so many people in this. There's so many people in this industry. And the majority of the people in this industry, they have a cookie cutter deal. Okay, I got a house here. This guy wants to buy it. We go to a lender and get the loan and buys the property. Anything other than that scenario, they go crazy. They don't know what to do. But there's more than one way to skin a cat, and I like it. Why? Because I'm typically dealing with people that are more sophisticated than a typical residential realtor who wouldn't even have a clue for doing what we do, because it's a whole different skill set, and that includes even a lot of commercial brokers. So what we do here is a niche market, and it's been good to me.
Here's a 2-parter. Is it harder and is it more rewarding?
Both. It's significantly more rewarding. I don't consider it. Well, it is harder. It is harder because there's so many different steps you got to go through, and A typical real estate transaction it consists of a buyer and a seller and a loan, you know, typically, okay? And our transactions involve a whole panoply of individuals, okay? Like for example, on this particular deal that I'm doing now, I got $5 million worth of jade, okay? And the purchaser of the jade is taking, giving them $15 million worth of cryptocurrency as a down payment on the jade, okay? And it's got a given period of time for that $15 million worth of cryptocurrency, which they have title to immediately, okay? Then the other party is able to get a certain amount of that jade, going to get it to a cutter, going to turn it into jewelry, going to sell it. All the revenue from selling that small portion of the jade goes into escrow, okay? And the escrow holder has the jade in a vault in a bank or someplace like that. And so as soon as it gets to $5 million, okay, then he gets the rest of the jade. They keep the crypto and they keep the $5 million and we get the jade. And so you can see how it's a lot different than just, I'm going to buy the jade, here's the money.
And so what's the formula?
There are so many different formulas.
No.
Okay. Discount sale buyback. I got a property that I want to, and I need cash. Okay. So what I'll do, I got $1 million property. Okay. I'm going to sell it to you for $750,000. And I agree in a given period of time to buy it back from you for $750,000 plus whatever is decided mutually among the parties. And that's the benefit. There's another one, a sale leaseback. You got a guy who has a building and he has a business and he needs some money, okay? And so instead of going to a loan, he'll sell that building to an investor, okay? And he will lease it back from that investor for a certain agreed upon lease rate, which gives that investor a certain return on his dollar. And that's different than a loan, but essentially it solves a lot of problems. And one of the problems it solves, if you go to a loan, there's all kinds of regulations and requirements you got to go to. On a deal like this, as long as the buyer does his due diligence and likes the property, okay, and is convinced that the seller is strong enough to perform on the lease, you got a deal.
And to the buyer, it's like, hey, you're buying this property that you were probably going to do anyway, but guess what? Now it comes with a tenant.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a benefit to the buyer.
But and then the person who is selling the building, they're activating their equity, but
and
not having to move their business.
Exactly.
And
also, instead of owning the building and taking depreciation, their lease payment is 100% tax deductible to them because they're paying that lease. That's an expense of running a business. So that's another benefit.
So yeah,
it's a win-win.
Marv said that you guys are dream makers.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, like I say, I got $15 billion worth of jade. 90% of the world's inventory of imperial jade sitting over in Japan, owned by a guy, and he wants to liquidate it because he has no heirs, but he wants to do some good things for the town that he was born in and the people there and for charity. And I have sold real estate and traded into the people that have never even seen the property. I mean, I sold a medical building in Wichita about 10 years ago. A gal from California, okay? She was looking for an investment. A colleague of mine in Wichita told me about it. I had the property listed. She bought the property. It was $3.5 million or something like that. She never even came to look at the property. She hired an attorney in Wichita to do the due diligence. Okay, he said go for it. She went for it. We all got paid. And I think one of the differences between conventional real estate and the things that we do, we're always looking for a win-win. Okay, now, commercial real estate, conventional commercial real estate is cutthroat, buddy. I mean, typically, and just by the structure of the business, you have a buyer and a seller who have an adversarial relationship. But the way that we're doing it, we have two people, and we're there to solve a problem for both of them. Our function is actually completely different than the function of a real estate broker, whether it's residential or commercial, because everybody's trying to get a good deal.
Transparency in conventional brokerage is almost, I think, illegal. But here it's like if I decide to be an exchanger and I screw you over, guess what? How much business I'm going to get?
You're done. Oh yeah, exactly, absolutely. Because what goes around comes around. Yeah, but my job is to get the deal to the closing table. Exchanging has been good to me over the years, and the real estate business has been good to me over the years. I don't have a college degree. But I started selling real estate when I was 16 years old from my dad, who was a real estate broker.
No, I got one more question.
Yes.
It's a quick one. Do you like your job?
Love it. I wouldn't do anything else. I said, I'm retired. I mean, really, I get Social Security and all that crap, But I wouldn't quit doing this because it's my form of creativity. I'm an artist, and that's what I like doing. I love my job.
Kind of a weird medium. Most people wouldn't think of real estate as an art.
Truly it is. Truly it is. Some of the best artists in the world are sitting right over there today.
Well, thanks.
I appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. Do you want a copy? I can send it to you.
Oh yeah,
The whole
I'd love
interview?
that.
Yeah.
I'd love that.